Hello ladies and gentlemen, yet again I'm bringing you another video about the Nvidia new GPUs that are coming out and what could be a major game-changing event that's going to happen soon. So we have Reflex 2. Reflex 2 could be the major event that happens. That will happen, that will change gaming as we know it pretty much with the AI integrated frame generation. So before I was complaining about AI frame gen, it's going to add latency. But with Reflex 2, you've minus down heaps of latency. Let's have a look at this, right? Let's go down here. So we are talking about 58 milliseconds is current, right? And that's not with Reflex 1 on. So I think with Reflex 1 on, that moves it down to about 30 milliseconds response time. Sorry, I'm really dark. But yes, so maybe I'll just put me down here and I'll just move my mouse around it. So 58 milliseconds response time down to, with Reflex 2 on, we're moving down to about 16 milliseconds, 15 to 20 milliseconds, I'm going to say. Now in different games, obviously the milliseconds is going to be higher and lower. Now in single player games, this could make a huge difference because if they're moving from 60 milliseconds response time down to even a 20 or a 30 milliseconds response time, and then adding on frame gen, which will be DLSS 4.0. You add on the AI frames, which may only add on about maybe 10 milliseconds onto that. So we're going from 60 down to 30 or 40 milliseconds, adding on 10, which brings us back up to about 50 or 40 milliseconds, which is still better than what you're currently getting anyway. So AI with frame gen this could be the game changer here. Alright, now I'm pretty excited about it because this could make a world of difference in a lot of things. So let's look. So this one's not as big because this game's already really fast anyway. So this is Overwatch, and it goes from 22 milliseconds down to under 10 milliseconds response time. Now, obviously in this game, you probably wouldn't want to turn on AI frame generation because it's going to add input lag. However, the input lag is going to be so low anyway, it probably won't bother you if you're not super in tune to fast flick rates. Now, for a pro, you'd want that milliseconds to be down as low as you can, but for an average player, you probably don't really care. You're probably not going to notice it, but it can make a difference. Anyway, here we go. So in your computer, you have your system latency, which is your OS, which Windows is usually pretty bad with latency. So if you were using Linux or some other kind of OS, your latency would be way lower than this. You have your display latency. So everything that goes to your monitor is obviously delayed. And you have your PC latency, which is like, it's got to go through your CPU, it's got to go to your RAM, it's got to go to your graphics card, which then gets probably sent back to your CPU to make sure everything's right, which goes back to your graphics card, which goes to your monitor. Which obviously that adds a bit of time, but it does it really quick, and most people don't notice it. And then you've got your mouse latency. Mouse latency is the biggest one because that's the one that you're going to feel. You want that to be as low as possible, but you also want everything else here to be as low as possible at the same time. So if you can lower it down to 1 millisecond, then you'll pretty much have no mouse latency, no foreseeable mouse latency. And that's about it for what I wanted to talk about today for Reflex. So if you add AI frame gen to Reflex 2.0, it may not be as bad as I may have thought earlier, but there's only one way to find out, and that's when the cards get released, and then we can do a more in-depth look at these new cards, find out if the AI frame gen makes it feel laggy or if it makes it feel way, way better. And I'll also get to find out if AI frame gen adds lots of little errors on the screen, because that is also an issue with DLSS. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, give us a good old thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time.